Welcome back to Right Side Broadcasting Network Live. I'm Robert McNeely. As we have seen President Trump on an exciting day of signing executive orders in the Oval Office, and that conversation this morning with the Mexican president. There are now 10,000 Mexican troops going to our southern border, of course, their northern border, to conceal and protect from the foreign terrorist organizations, the cartels, and everything that's taking place there, really the last 4 years with the drug trafficking. And Vice President J.D. Vance really covered that today when he was in East Palestine, Ohio, reiterating the position of President Donald Trump wanting to secure that border, how important that is, because we've had over 100,000 people die in the last several years, each year, due to fentanyl poisoning. So a huge success there. President Trump promising the Mexican president that there will be no tariff thrown onto Mexico within the next 30 days, as this was agreed to this morning. We'll see if that changes over time. And of course, he is going to be speaking with Prime Minister Justin Trudeau as well regarding what's been happening north of our border with Canada. There are Mexican cartels who are up to the same insidious activities and having those poisons pour over as well. But in the meantime, we're waiting for President Trump to meet with the Florida Panthers at the White House. Of course, they won the Stanley Cup last year, and this is something traditional that presidents and leaders get to enjoy with some of the major sports icons and teams all around the country, and they are in town to play the Washington Capitals tomorrow at Capital One Arena. And we're familiar here with that great arena as we were there for President Trump's rally before he took the oath of office in D.C., and that was a very exciting event. That was a star-studded event, in fact, with Kid Rock performing, as well as many others who went up to the podium really as a thank you rally for all who were in attendance, and an exciting, beautiful stadium. And then, of course, because it was so cold 2 weeks ago today for Inauguration Day, they moved the parade inside to enjoy some executive orders and additional speeches. And, of course, President Trump joking as well that you won't miss my son Barron if he stands up, because he's about 7 feet tall, and he enjoyed a moment in that beautiful arena. So the Florida Panthers in our nation's capital, ready to take on the Capitals tomorrow night. But first, they are going to enjoy a victory rally of sorts with our commander-in-chief, congratulating them on their amazing victory last year with the Stanley Cup. And you think Florida, not necessarily the place for hockey and cold weather sports, but in the last couple of years with the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers increasing in popularity as well. And I was fortunate enough to go down to Merritt Bank Arena, where it's located in Sunrise, Florida. That's where the Panthers play. And it was during my time at Turning Point USA, we used to have conferences in West Palm Beach. So we took that Sunrail up there to enjoy some hockey as well. I had a field rep who actually played college hockey himself. So being from Chicago, I definitely enjoy the sport of hockey. It's a fun thing during the winter season. But today, some interesting coverage with Vice President J.D. Vance. If you were watching earlier, Matthew Alvarez and I were covering what was taking place in East Palestine, Ohio. And the vice president was greeted by Governor Mike DeWine and Senator Bernie Moreno, and also his replacement as well, Mr. Husted, the new Senator John Husted, who was the former lieutenant governor of the Buckeye State. He was also joined by our second lady, Usha Vance, and Vivek Ramaswamy was there as well. So he had a few nice words with the vice president. And of course, they were really investigating and listening to the first responders on the ground, having dealt with what took place 2 years ago tonight, that train derailment and all those chemicals that went into the soil, to the water, and the burn-off that took place for a full 2 days after this terrible accident of chloride going into the atmosphere. And some people are now suing the federal government. They're also suing the train company because of everything that took place with this derailment 2 years ago and people having sicknesses that have been ongoing, including cancer. So a very sad thing that's happened. And that was really a topic today. Matthew was with me. You know, it's been interesting to watch the last 4 years of the Biden administration giving billions and billions overseas to other foreign interests that really had nothing to do with our foreign policy and had nothing to do with the safety and security of the American people who have been reeling in certain areas of the country. You think of Western North Carolina and Southern California with Hurricane Helene and also the wildfires that have taken place recently. It's been a rough, few weeks and months for some of our fellow American citizens, and President Trump meeting with them right on the ground in Asheville. He was joined by the Reverend Franklin Graham and, of course, First Lady Melania Trump as they were assessing the damage still on the ground and how to solve these problems moving forward. There's been talk of removing FEMA completely or even reforming FEMA. We know that the agency has really failed on so many levels ever since Hurricane Katrina, dating back to the Bush 43 administration. And there you have a live shot of the East Room. Of course, this is where many ceremonial things do happen. And whether it's meeting with these professional sports teams, or you even saw last week where the Laken Riley Act was signed into law, the first bill that President Trump signed into law in his new tenure as the 47th Commander-in-Chief. And you see everyone assembling there. And this should be a more lighthearted celebration, of course, and a bipartisan celebration. And usually what's cool there, I think we got to see it right. Oh, that's really neat. There's a President Trump jersey in the background with 45 and 47 on that. So that's somewhat unique given that he was the 45th and 47th President of the United States. So a team will donate the jersey over to the president hosting them, and usually it has their number of the succession that they're in, the number of which president that they are. So traditionally you would have something where he would receive 45, of course, in the past, and now it's 45, 47. So a really neat jersey. And sometimes I wonder where all those jerseys end up going over the years, because I'm sure presidents end up collecting many of them in the process. But a beautiful sight to see right in front of that wonderful portrait of our founding father, General George Washington, the very first inaugural holder of the American presidency. And we seem to have a mic check happening right there in the East Room. So it's a wonderful day in America. We're 2 weeks in to the new Trump administration. Yes, 14 days ago. Doesn't it seem like forever ago that we were in Washington, D.C. celebrating with Megan Kohler and Christina Loren as we covered everything on the ground, all the happenings in D.C. An exciting time. And we'd like to thank our sponsors here at Right Side Broadcasting who help bring you this unbridled coverage of President Trump, Vice President Vance, and also the 119th Congress. Just grabbing this guide right here, Colonial Metals. This is your go-to for gold and silver. You can scan that QR code right there to shield your savings now. Of course, this is a wonderful guide that is really no obligation, just free to look over the options you have. Paul Stone, a wonderful CEO for this organization, and President Reagan saying inflation is as violent as a mugger, as frightening as an armed robber, and as deadly as a hitman. So it's really come true with everything that happened during the Biden years and the inflation that's taken place, the geopolitical conflict, and the demand for gold and silver exploding as a result of governments printing money. So a very smart guide that will help you to determine what's best for you and your family as a hedge against inflation. And again, you could scan that QR code, get the no obligation free gold guide right there. And whether you have properties, assets, 401ks, IRAs, you can actually diversify, put that into tangible gold, silver, and precious metals. Colonial Metals Group, thank you for sponsoring Right Side Broadcasting. It's now about 3:37 on the East Coast. A beautiful afternoon in our nation's capital as you see some of the players from the Florida Panthers pouring on in for one of the fun and more ceremonial aspects of the American presidency, getting to celebrate with our sports teams and all of their successes. And it's a big week in sports. If you're looking at, there's going to be competition here. The Panthers will play the Washington Capitals, so that's why they are in town. Sometimes they make a special trip, but if they're playing our federal city, they usually stop by the White House, especially after winning the Stanley Cup last year, to give President Trump a ceremonial Florida Panthers jersey from his home state of the Sunshine State of Florida. So that should be fun. But this week, the golf world, we have the Waste Management Open out in Scottsdale, Arizona. And of course, Super Bowl 59, the Chiefs and the Eagles. So Kansas City and Philadelphia. I hope you get a chance to view that with loved ones, friends, and family, as we're planning to get together here at the network to enjoy some of those festivities as well. It's as American as it gets to take some time out to enjoy the highest level of sports. And President Trump, being quite a sports fan himself, in fact, he was very involved in high school with the baseball team, so actually a captain of his baseball team. So someone who does definitely enjoy sports and everything that it has to offer, admiring many different athletes and, challenging those too who seem to disagree with his Make America Great Again policies. But that's really the difference. I can remember being with now Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy and his wonderful wife, Rachel Campos Duffy, at a Young Americans for Freedom event outside of Chicago a number of years back. And they talked about the difference, the growth of the Republican Party away from the Mitt Romney way of doing things. And if you remember Senator Romney, then governor, he was really focused on not being argumentative or involved so much in the culture. He actually is on the record saying, oh, that's not really something I would even comment on. Whereas President Trump, whether it was on The Apprentice or running the Trump organization, always someone who was willing to comment on a plethora of different issues and made his statements known, would tweet those out as well, and was someone who always remained in the national dialogue as a result. And maybe you can remember, I think it was the moment that really convinced him to run for president. It was the White House press correspondents' dinner, and then President Barack Obama was really chastising and teasing President Trump and then a private citizen. And he simply looked and I think in that moment thought, you know what, I'm going to go after this. I'm going to run for president myself. So, an interesting thing that President Trump has used his interest not only in pop culture but in sports to get his point across. And I'm sure this will be a fun moment for him, being that the Panthers are, of course, from Florida, his home state. And you look now at that beautiful Stanley Cup. That's one of the largest trophies in all of major sports, and it's quite heavy. So for those of you who are hockey fans or maybe those who don't watch the sport, when they actually bring it out to present the champions, they first shake hands. So it's a really cool ceremony at the end of the conclusion of the Stanley Cup series. They'll actually shake hands, both teams. And then there are people who have the full-time job of overlooking Lord Stanley's cup. So they will wear the white glove, they get the full service, they wipe it down, and they chisel in the new champion. And they actually present it to the team captain. And then from there, you actually see things where the players each get roughly 5 days or a week with the trophy. And some people eat cereal out of it. Some people have the favorite beverage of their choice. So it's an interesting celebration with one of the most iconic trophies in all of the major sports. And something that really, I think, unites us not only in North America, but it's a sport that is very Canadian in nature. So our friends of the North really enjoy that. Sadly, we saw in Ottawa just the other day where the our national anthem was being booed, but I'm sure that was from very far left egomaniacs who would do something like that, because we can't imagine ever booing the national anthem of Canada when it's performed. And you'll see that a lot at a hockey game, just because you have the connection between our two great nations, but also Eastern Europe and those Nordic nations, a lot of great players from there as well. So awaiting President Trump to meet with the National Hockey League champion Florida Panthers right there in the East Room of the White House. On a more serious note, we saw last week that he signed his first bill into law. That was the Laken Riley Act, and that was long overdue because Congressman Mike Collins introduced that back in March. And of course, the Biden administration did not want to touch that nor sign that into law. but he worked hard to bring that to a bipartisan consensus. Roughly 48 House Democrats joining Republicans to pass that legislation. Then Senate Bill 5, the Senate version of this, Katie Britt of Alabama, bringing that along with 12 other Democrat senators for a bipartisan consensus to make sure that everyone, is really safe from the attack that we faced with the migrant crisis in this country. There's no question that illegal immigration and migrant crime has really destroyed lives in the last few years in this beautiful country of ours. I mean, think about Lake and Riley just jogging at the University of Georgia on a day like today, sunshine and just the early afternoon hours, and then her fate to be brutally molested and murdered by someone who should not have been here in the first place. We have Jocelyn Nungary. You think about Rachel Morin, who had a similar fate, out jogging, a 37-year-old mother of 5 who sadly just attacked by someone, again, who should not have been in the country in the first place. And even former President Bill Clinton mentioning that if the individual was simply vetted, then we would not be talking about the issue at hand. So, that's even something that he pointed out, someone on the other side of the aisle. And it looks like a filled press room today in the East Room, mixed with, of course, the Florida Panthers there enjoying this celebration. I'm sure something really to enjoy. Hockey players are kind of a funny breed. They leave their work out on the ice. They really do. They're kind of soft-spoken individuals. I don't know why that is necessarily compared to other sports, but usually when you interview them, you might get 1 or 2 word answers. For some reason, the culture of that hockey community is just very quiet, but they leave all their work out on the ice, and they're some of the most talented people that are out there. Because think about this, you have to have that hand-eye coordination. You're wearing a lot of gear. It's a physically demanding sport, and then you have to be a great ice skater on top of that too. So it's really something that is one of our favorite sports here in the country, and one that unites people from several different continents and several different countries. So a fun moment here at Right Side Broadcasting to celebrate the NHL champion Florida Panthers as they visit D.C. to not only take on the Washington Capitals, but to visit with the 45 and 47 Commander-in-Chief, Donald John Trump. And speaking of 45 and 47, you might want to visit RepublicanRed.com, code RSBN for all the amazing discounts. This comes out of Lodi, California, Central Coast, a beautiful spot. I actually got to meet their mayor recently, sworn in as a young Republican as well. So a young man taking up the reins there, but this town is beautiful. And this company, a wonderful family-owned company, they've been dominating wine world for a period of time now. And you can see there the 45-47 red blend, also the 45-47 champagne. So pop some bubbly. You can get this in time for the big Super Bowl game, Super Bowl 57, of course, comes Sunday. Or if you just want to enjoy a wine Wednesday or two, RepublicanRed.com for all of those excellent products. And when you actually buy from their site, a portion of that will go to conservative and Republican programs. So you'll end up helping out a number of things that you also agree with. So thank you to the Patriots over at Republican Red Winery. And we are just moments away, about 46 minutes after the hour, just shy of 4 o'clock Eastern here in Washington, D.C. Of course, we're in Auburn, Alabama, catching all of the action. 2 weeks President Trump has been in office. Wow. And he could not come at a more crucial time for our dear nation. So much in need of populist reforms, and he's the one to bring that message. As White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt said last week, you have access to me. I will always bring the truth to you. We expect the truth to come back full circle from the media, but we'll also open up to those social media entrepreneurs and those influencers and connectors in different networks to get that message out there to the American people about making it a safe country again, making it a healthy country again, and ultimately making this country great again. But she said the best spokesperson for the White House is the man himself, President Donald Trump. And He works at a breakneck pace. There's no question about that, as I'm sure he'll enjoy this moment with some great competitors, the Florida Panthers, out of Sunrise, which is also a lovely town as well. If you have a chance to visit, you could take that Sun line up there on the eastern belt of Florida and enjoy some really wonderful hockey. So if you end up in West Palm Beach and you want to take the ride up the coast, it's a great way to go see some hockey in beautiful sunny Florida. And you can see in the distance there, of course, Lord Stanley's Cup. And for those of you who do not watch hockey, that is the trophy you win upon winning the NHL's coveted prize. And they have one of the longer seasons as well. So if you end up in the playoffs and then go to the Stanley Cup, it runs well into June. So you have a sport that really you'll only get about 6 weeks off if you make it to the end there. And we could see some Florida representatives there, of course, Byron Donalds and the new Senator Ashley Moody, who took Secretary Rubio's spot in the U.S. Senate. So a proud day for Floridians, and it has become the talked about state in recent memory. So many people moving there post-COVID, so maybe that had some influence with just the expanding teams down there and the popularity of the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers, who have really made hockey very popular in our Sunshine State. But you think it's very much a cold weather type of sport. But even down there where the sun is shining, most of the time you get to enjoy hockey, a premier sport here in our beautiful country. And there's Senator Rick Scott as well, the senior senator, former governor of Florida, making his way into the East Wing or the East Room for what is sure to be a wonderful celebration. And President Trump has been just nonstop. I mean, we look at the executive orders today, mostly appointing different people to certain positions and special envoys, and the success of these special envoys. Credit is due to Mr. Rick Grenell of California. We saw him alongside President Trump when they sat down to speak with LA Mayor Karen Bass and local and federal leaders in California, several congressmen as well, when it came to the crises happening with the the California issue with the water, with the forest management, also the fires as well. And Rick Grenell just went down with that special envoy, 6 hostages from Venezuela coming back to the United States. Reports say very happy and healthy, and thank God that they are back. But it seems as if every day something gets done very fast on behalf of the Trump administration, whether that's President Trump on the phone with the Mexican president, where she has now pledged 10,000 Mexican troops on the border, or you have a situation like Mr. Rick Grenell freeing those hostages down in Venezuela. The world is responding. They are responding in a favorable manner to President Trump and all of the reforms he's focused on at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. And even this past weekend, as he went down to Florida to enjoy a working vacation at the Southern White House, of course we know it as Mar-a-Lago, he was working every day, working to make this country safe again, working to make this country healthy again, and ultimately working to make the country great again. So an exciting time. And his number 2 in command, Mr. J.D. Vance, the 50th Vice President of the United States, was in East Palestine, Ohio earlier today. It's the 2-year anniversary to the date where that train derailment took place and expelled terrible chloride in that burn over the skies of East Palestine, and people suffering diseases as a result, and cancers, in fact, of that horrible burning that took place 2 years ago. And that's the first time we saw President Trump out of office with then Senator J.D. Vance, the first glimpse of what would become the Republican ticket in 2024. 2 gentlemen focused on making America safe and healthy again. Now, we did see people with signs who were greeting the vice president in eastern Ohio today. And one stood out to me, the Robert T. Stafford Disaster Relief and Emergency Assistance Act. This is commonly known as the Stafford Act. The people there asking for that to be reinstated. This was enacted by the 100th United States Congress on November 23rd of 1988, so 36 years ago. And this was designed to bring an orderly and systematic means of federal natural disaster assistance for state and local governments in carrying out their responsibilities to aid citizens. And Congress's intention was to encourage states and localities to develop comprehensive disaster preparedness plans so they could prepare for better intergovernmental coordination in the face of a disaster, whether man-made or natural. And this was to encourage the use of insurance coverage and provide federal assistance programs for losses due to a disaster. So we'll see if that gets back online. We know President Trump is not happy with FEMA in their response in the prior administration to Western North Carolina, to what's taken place in the last few days with the wildfires in California as well. So serious business with the backdrop of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue, a live shot for you. The East Room of the White House, where President Trump is meeting with NHL's Florida Panthers. They are the Stanley Cup champions from the 2023-2024 season. Of course, this new season underway, and they are going to take on the Washington Capitals tomorrow night at that Capital One Arena, which I'm sure you viewers at home are very familiar with, or if you were attending the inaugural ceremonies, you know that President Trump had his first rally of the year at Capital One Arena that Sunday before taking the oath of office. And of course, they moved everything indoors 2 weeks ago to the day because of the brisk and chilly temperatures in Washington, D.C. And there you see the Stanley Cup itself and President Trump's jersey that he will be presented by, I assume, the coach of the Florida Panthers or some of the team captains as well. And you see there Trump 45-47. So really an amazing moment for the president. I hope he gets the time just to enjoy, being that this is somewhat of his home team, hockey team here, being a Floridian himself, an adopted Floridian. But this team has gained in popularity in the last few years with how good they have truly become. And their rivals on the west coast of Florida, of course, the Tampa Bay Lightning, bringing all of the entertainment of this ice sport in the beautiful Sunshine State, which stays warm most of the year. So interesting to see that hockey would be down in Florida, but you've had so many people move from, really all over down to the Sunshine State in the last few years because truly it is the free state of Florida. And you've had conservative voices living down there, whether that's Byron Donalds or Ashley Moody. Of course, they're in the room with Senior Senator Rick Scott as well. And of course, Governor DeSantis, who was one of those governors who worked very diligently to reopen Florida as soon as humanly possible. And you had people, as a result, leave their tyrannical states. I know I was living in tyranny back then. Gosh, during COVID, it was in the People's Republic of Illinois, as I like to deem it. And some of the rules and regulations that were in Chicago were just obnoxious. I can remember a time I was just shopping in a local grocery store and someone came running over to me saying, "You don't have a mask on." And this was before the mandates that took place. So very early on during that night, I kindly mentioned, aren't we supposed to be 6 feet apart? But apparently that line of thought was not working out well for a communist state such as Illinois. And we know that President Trump has also gone after J.B. Pritzker, the governor of the land of Lincoln, and putting it plainly that he is not very thrilled with what he has to offer the people, and he continues with his rhetoric when it comes to going up against ICE and going up against the great people at Homeland Security who are working overtime to make America safe again. And it looks like the president might be approaching. We have our eyes on it right now, but you saw everyone stood up in the room, and of course, some of his own press team getting ready to film everything for social media. But it looks like these are members of the team of the Florida Panthers entering the East Room of the White House. And of course, this is a very ceremonial room. We saw it was somber last week as President Trump signed that first bill into law of his presidency, the Laken-Riley Act. But fortunately, you have moments like this too that can be celebrated with great sports success. And of course, the Panthers donning that red tie, their colors, red, white, and black as well. But they almost look like, some MAGA ties going on there, something that, President Trump would probably enjoy wearing. We're going to throw right to the East Room of the White House and enjoy these ceremonial proceedings of the NHL Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers.
Then they lost 3, and I said, "Ooh, this is going to be a tough loss." That would not, I don't know, that would have been bad. But that's the real champions can pull it out. But the 2024 Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers, and it was a tremendous championship and watched by all. And the entire team, congratulations on your first ever Stanley Cup win. And you had a couple of really close calls, and I watched the team get better and better and better, and then they won. In particular, I want to congratulate your team owner, Vinny Viola, my friend. His sons, John Michael and Michael Thomas. Where are your sons? Where are they?
Raise your hand. President.
Where are they? Nice job. And head coach Paul Maurice, really fantastic. That's a nice ring. That's a good coach, too. General Manager Bill Zito. Bill. And President and CEO Matthew Caldwell. We're also pleased to be joined by NHL Commissioner Gary Bettman. Where's Gary? Gary, come here, Gary. Done a great job. I knew him a long while, right? When he was in another league. But this has been incredible, the job you've done. Thank you very much. Senators Rick Scott and Ashley Moody. Rick, Ashley. Congratulations to Ashley. And Representatives Byron Donalds. Byron, thank you very much. Gus Bilirakis. Thank you very much, Gus. Michael Haridopoulos. Michael. Good job, Michael. Anna Paulina Luna. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? Congratulations. Jared Moskowitz. Jared, very good. And Maria Salazar. Thank you, Maria. Thank you very much. And we have a couple of others. I'm going to get myself in big trouble because I don't know where you are. I know you're here someplace, but we got to get on to ice hockey. The Panthers 2023 and 2024 season was one for the history books. It was really an exciting one. Everybody was watching it. You secured the Atlantic Division title for the third time, and after coming up just short of the Stanley Cup the year prior, you gave the fans one of the most riveting comebacks in NHL history, in any sport history. I don't know anything about a comeback, but they tell me it's very exciting. I never viewed mine as a comeback. I never said, this was not a comeback. Team captain Alexander Sasha Barkov was crowned the league's best defensive forward after winning his second Selke trophy, and that was a great honor. It's a big deal to do that. Where is he? Where is he? Come here. So we lost him. And when facing off against your cross-state rivals, the Tampa Bay Lightning, Matthew Tkachuk's firepower was unmatched, contributing 2 goals and 2 assists, and he led the way to a glorious 9-2 victory. 9-2 victory. 9-2 victory in one game? How many times have people done that? How the hell did they take you 9-2 victory and then you go to 7 games? How did that happen? You were surprised too, huh? Setting a franchise record with the Panthers' 11th consecutive win on the road. And then Anton Lundell also had a memorable season, racking up 35 points, with 13 goals and 22 assists. He won 55% of his faceoffs, setting an all-time career high while just 22 years old. And congratulations to Anton. Where is he? That's great, Anton. Don't worry, you'll get beat up in life a little bit. Your team's many successes were the result of incredible performances across the board, and I'm sure you agree that your coach deserves a lot of credit. He's a great coach. Nobody knows hockey like Paul. He's the league's second all-time leader in games coached and holds the record for the most wins in Florida's Panthers history, and I assume he's going to be around for a long time, right? He's not going anywhere. Coach, I want to be your agent, Coach. Under Paul's leadership, the Panthers have become a finely tuned machine with a rock-solid defensive and offensive. Your offense is great, your defense is great, the whole thing. It's very tough to beat. And I will tell you, I looked at your current record. You're doing pretty well, right? Really You're nicely positioned. We're starting to roll now. Yeah, you know the expression, he's nicely positioned. I love all these ties. This is so cute, these people. Look at them. I walked in, I said, I think they like Trump. I like them. And you aren't just great protectors of the net. You're also known as the biggest brawlers on ice. Wow. I was with a man named Wayne Gretzky the other day. Do you know Wayne Gretzky? Did you ever hear of Wayne Gretzky? The great one? And he was telling me about a gentleman that protected him named Marty McSorley. Do you know that? You ever hear of him? I don't know if he was a good hockey player, but they say he was very tough. And Wayne was saying he was great as far as he was concerned. He had tough cookies. All of the team's hard work led up to big showdowns last June where you defeated the Edmonton Oilers in an unforgettable, and it was, 7-game series. The Panthers, as I said, started strong with a 3-0 lead. It was over. It was over. In fact, I didn't watch the next 2 games because I said, this is not going to be too exciting. And then I said, uh-oh. This is not good. Then I really said, uh-oh, right? He went to a game 7, but the Oilers made impressive recoveries and really amazing, actually, the way they played, too. They evened the score and forced a decisive game 7. The series was a battle from start to finish. It made it actually much more interesting. Goalie Sergei Bobrovsky, and he was incredible. Oh, I got to see him. Where is he? How good is he? You were, I mean, Hall of Fame? And even, how old are you?
36.
Boy, I tell you, you were unbelievable. What an amazing job you did. And there was a lot of pressure, and I mean it. That game 7, you guys had to be like, man, and you played great. That was great job you did. On behalf of everybody that watched, thank you, Bob. was nothing short of phenomenal during the finals. In the first 40 minutes of Game 1, Bob made an astounding 25 saves. He's the first goalie to get a shutout in Game 1 of the Stanley Cup in 13 years, and his 23 saves in Game 7 were absolutely crucial to securing a very, very tight victory. And Bob started his career as an undrafted free agent and is now a Stanley Cup champion and will go down as one of the great goalkeepers in all-time history. It's really a big honor for you, especially what you were undrafted, so he made a good deal, in other words. Huh? It's the best thing. You'd like to find more like that, huh? So it's what a great achievement, Bob. Congratulations. But the title couldn't have been won if you didn't have a man named Carter Verhaeghe. Carter Verhaeghe. Where's Carter? I can always pronounce that name because I heard it so many times during the service. I said hair is right. I heard that name so much. Verhaeghe is scoring champion, and he's the scoring, and really the opening goal of that game was very important, wasn't it? That put you in a position where got you the butterflies out a little bit. Way to go. Congratulations. That's a great job. Everybody. Carter skillfully directed a shot past the Oilers goalie and gave the Panthers your first lead in the series since Game 3. And not to forget Sam Reinhart, who had a legendary shot in Game 7. That certainly was a legendary shot, one that's not going to be forgotten. After securing the puck from Carter, Sam carried it down the ice and flicked a wrist shot, very much like I would do it if I played, right past the Oilers goalie, beating him and beat him on the glove side. Where are you? How did you feel after that shot? Like the greatest feeling or one of the greatest in life?
We still have about 25 minutes to play, so not too good.
You had a long time left. It's true. It's true. You had a little bit to go. Sam cemented himself as in Panthers history for shooting the team's first ever Stanley Cup winning goal. That was a winning goal. Both teams showed tremendous willpower and athletic talent, unbelievable talent. But in the end, the Panthers stood the ground and did what you have to do as a champion. You can't be a champion unless you could go through something like that. And I can tell you, it was hell for them, that seventh game. Going to the seventh game had to be hell because you're either going to win and really be praised because you came from such a horrible position to being life-threatening. Right? I mean, that would have been just unbelievable. We've seen them. We've seen it happen. It happens a lot, actually. But you didn't let it happen to you. It's an incredible achievement. And I just want to tell you, you fought for every last point, and it was just something I watched, Mr. Commissioner. I was watching that sucker for maybe the wrong reasons because of that guy. And I was hooked, too, because you fell in love with that team, the guts and the courage they had. You really started to really like them. They're great people, and now I see them. And, in fact, I like them so much, I said, we'll get rid of the fake news media very soon, and we're going to go to the Oval Office, and we're going to take some pictures in the Oval Office. Normally, we don't do that, but we're going to do it for this team and for you. And we'll take, unless you don't want to go, you can go home a little bit early. So today we honor the three and these just really great athletes. These are amazing athletes, an amazing team, and their outstanding achievements. Their wonderful owner, from underdogs to champions, they prove the dedication and hard work can transform dreams into reality. So congratulations once again to the Florida Panthers on just an unbelievable season and a really an unbelievable run because you've been doing so well and now you continue to do well. We'll try and get to one of those games. You know, it's a little tough as president, but I think we can work it out. We'll need a lot of Secret Service. They'll be happy. Well, we're gonna get to do it. You've made your state and your fans very, very proud. And now I'd like to introduce my friend Vinny Viola, who's a real champion himself. He's a champion at everything he's ever done, loves the military. First thing he did, I see him, he said, you got to do this with the Army. You got to move them here. You got to move them. He's giving me all the instructions. You love the military. I would have liked him. We should have had you in Afghanistan instead of the characters we had. Would have turned out a little bit different, huh? Come here. Congratulations. Congratulations. Great.
First, Mr. President, you look fantastic.
Thank you.
So whatever it is you're working so hard at, it's agreeing with you, and I like to see that, and thank you.
He knows
So
what to say.
we brought a cohort, to use a term we use in the military, of champions to visit a champion. And your kindness and the hospitality displayed by your staff is a simple reflection of the excellence that you demand of your people, and we were the beneficiaries of it today. So thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to keep this short because I really don't enjoy this. Just a couple of points. South Florida, Florida more broadly, has just been fantastic to us, Mr. President. We have with us two very special people. They know our team in and out. I have to recognize them. Mark Bogan and Monica Shapiro from Broward County. They're just two superstars. And it's hard, it's hard to start, really, Gary. When we took the team, it was a little tough. And we really needed the help of the community and the political class, and quite frankly, the private leadership. I could thank every member of the Panthers staff. They were all here, the team. I'm going to bring up a guy that you would really like. He's just a tough, talented. His spirit just went right into the team. He's helped define it. His dad was a great player, Keith Kachuk. I don't know if you remember him. Yeah, he was a big, strong guy. He's like his dad. Before I do, I want to say one thing because my brain runs all over the place. Jared Moskowitz, your dad, when I bought this team, spent countless hours with me, driving me all over Fort Lauderdale. Meeting with, right, Monica? He was a great guy. I want you to know he was a great guy, and I want you to know you carry him in your heart every day. And he'd be so proud of you and the public service. Now, Mr. President, I'm going to ask Matthew Kachuk come up. We got a few things for you. I really hope you like them, especially is it up there? We framed, you're the only, listen, we had to go 45 and 47, right? And so
Thank you.
I thought you'd like that. But instead of a Ranger tab, because we designed this like the Ranger Battalion, your tab says POTUS. See above the Florida? See that, Rick? That's pretty cool, right? All right, Matthew, come on up here. You're going to talk to the president about your team.
Thank you. Well, thank you, Mr. President, for having us today. We greatly appreciate it, and being one of the few Americans, who loves this country so much. This is such an incredible day for myself, and you wake up every day and I'm really grateful to be an American. So thank you. But yeah, this team and this group of guys is super special, and everybody sees what we do on the ice. But I've built bonds with these guys that'll. I'll have for the rest of my life, and I'm forever grateful for these guys. We're forever champs, and I'll always remember these guys.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
So, with that said, we've got a few gifts for you. Mark, you want to give me out?
This is a trick. They say it's really heavy. This is a trick. I've lived it no matter what I do. Do I get that too? Do I get that? Hold up. His father was some great player too. Great guy. Genetics, right? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Following you, you're the
Okay, let's go. We're going to the Oval Office.
Are you still doing the terrace tonight? He said watch. He said the college went very good.
And President Trump celebrating the Stanley Cup champions, the Florida Panthers, there in the East Room, and somewhat of a lighthearted moment. Really knows the membership of the team, knows generational players and the ownership. So a special moment for him in his adopted home state of Florida, welcoming them in as they take on the Washington Capitals tomorrow. And what a special moment for President Trump and the entire team. We'd like to thank our sponsors here at Right Side Broadcasting, Colonial Metals. This is your go-to guide, a must if you're looking for gold and silver. You can shield your savings now by addressing that QR code right there. No obligation, just great to see how to diversify not only properties and assets, but your 401k and IRA into gold and silver precious metals. Scan the QR code now for your free 2025 gold guide, Colonial Metals Group. We'd also like to thank Tax Network, tnusa.com/RSBN. With the April 15th deadline right around the corner, protect yourself from the IRS and settle your back taxes today by calling 800-357-1415. Of course, visit tnusa.com/RSBN. The great patriots at Tax Network USA. Republican Red. You can visit them by going to republicanred.com and using that discount code RSBN. Very easy to remember, out of Lodi, California. This beautiful family-run operation in the central coast of the Golden State really knows how to do wines extraordinarily well. And you see the 45-47 red blend there, and also their champagne options. A great idea for Wine Wednesday, and still plenty of time to order if you're looking for some bubbly before the big game on Sunday with Super Bowl 59 right around the corner. republicanred.com. And of course, American Finance. We'd like to thank our friends over there that they know Americans still have kitchen table problems. A lot of us carrying really high credit card balances that charge us 20% or more each and every month. So if you're a homeowner, saving an average of $800 a month is kind of a no-brainer, considering that this organization can delay 2 mortgage payments if you start today. Give them a call. American Financing, 888-402-0299. That is 888-402-0299. AmericanFinancing.net/RSBN. Thank you for being a sponsor here at Right Side Broadcasting. And of course, Angel Paste. AngelPaste.com out of Spring, Texas, a Christian-owned company. They hire veterans as well, but let me tell you, no GMOs, no chemicals in their lotions, all natural, and stuff that's actually good for your skin. And when it gets absorbed, has so many properties that actually help you with your health. And if you're wondering if it's just for the ladies, they actually have stuff for guys too. So you can still be a manly man and grab that tackle box even if you use Angel Paste. So angelpaste.com, a very smart group out of Spring, Texas, and they know with the humid weather outside of Houston, a lot of mosquitoes there naturally. One of their great products actually repels mosquitoes naturally. So another great thing, not just moisturizing the skin, but making sure those repellents are there and you don't have to use that DEET and all that nasty stuff that you can get those chemicals on your skin. You don't want that. So go to angelpaste.com for refreshed, hydrated skin that makes you look and feel just glowing. MyPillow.com/RSBN. The mega sale right now. Get that replica cross from Mr. Mike Lindell. Save 30% using promo code RSBN. And My Towels and flannel sheets, all for a special price now. A low price of $29.98 or $44.98. And of course, 80% off everything at the site, mypillow.com/RSBN. You don't want to miss it. Give them a call, 800-836-7566. That's 800-836-7566. mypillow.com/RSBN. Thank you to Mr. Mike Lindell. And finally, if you like what you see, RSBN Live, please feel free to donate by texting RSBN to 801-801. Again, text RSBN to 801-801. Visit rsbnetwork.com/donate. Again, that's rsbnetwork.com/donate. A programming note: we are all here for you to bring you unbridled access to President Trump, Vice President Vance, and the 119th Congress, the Beltway, and even some stories outside of the Beltway, as you saw Vice President Vance visiting East Palestine, Ohio today. Well, I'm Robert McNeely. It's always a pleasure to join you here at Right Side Broadcasting. It's almost 5 o'clock somewhere on the East Coast and early afternoon all the way on the West Coast. If there's breaking news, we'll be right back with you here at Right Side Broadcasting Live. But for everyone at the network, thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you very soon.
Hey y'all, it's Silk from the Diamond and Silk Chit Chat Live Show. Look, don't forget to check me out right here on RSBN Network. Be sure to watch the show on Right Side Broadcasting Network, and I want you to support Right Side Broadcasting Network. Yes, it's imperative that you do so, okay? I look to see y'all soon. Bye-bye.
I'm excited to announce that we're having our first ever mega sale on overstock clearance and brand new products. For example, save over 50% on this season's flannel sheets. Queen size only $59.98. Kings only $69.98. They sell out fast every year, so order now. Save 20% on our brand new My Crosses. They're designed in the likeness of the one I've worn every day for over 20 years. They come in men's and women's, and they're made right here in the USA. Get our 2025 6-piece My Towel sets for only $29.98. Our initial quantities are extremely low, so get them now before they go. And our best-selling standard My Pillows, just $14.98. So go to mypillow.com or call the number on your screen. Use this promo code to take advantage of our first ever mega sale. But wait, remember that $75 free shipping rule? Well, that ship is sailed, because right now, every order ships absolutely free.
Welcome to Right Side Broadcasting Network, your trusted conservative news outlet. At RSBN, we deliver the truth when the mainstream media falls short. Since 2015, we've proudly broadcasted every single one of President Trump's iconic MAGA rallies, bringing you the excitement and energy live before anyone else. By watching RSBN, you get an unfiltered front row view of the action on the ground. We interview the crowds to give a voice to millions of Americans just like you. We show you President Trump's speeches in their entirety, free from interruptions and censorship. We cover the stories that matter to you with the integrity and passion you deserve. Thank you for choosing RSBN as your home for America First News. Together, we stand strong, united, and informed. So join us and be part of the right side of history.